The railway station bustled with life. Hawkers shouting, train whistles echoing, and passengers hurrying to their destinations. Among the chaos near the entrance sat an old beggar named Hari. His frail body was wrapped in torn clothes, his beard unkempt, and his hands rough from years of hardship. Every day, Hari stretched out his trembling hand, hoping for kindness. Some dropped coins without a glance, some ignored him, and some sneered. But Hari never cursed his fate. He simply smiled and whispered a silent prayer. One evening, as the golden sun painted the sky, a young boy named Rohan approached Hari. He was no older than 10, dressed in a school uniform, carrying a heavy bag. He stopped in front of the old man and, instead of tossing a coin, sat beside him. "Uncle, why do you beg?" Rohan asked, his innocent eyes filled with curiosity. Hari chuckled. "Because life has left me with no other choice, son." Rohan frowned. "That can't be true. Everyone has a choice." Hari smiled at the boy's confidence. "And what choice do you think I have?" The boy thought for a moment. "Well, what did you want to be when you were young?" Hari's eyes glistened with memories long buried. "I once dreamed of being a teacher," he said softly. "I wanted to teach children, to give them the education I never had. But life, it had other plans." Rohan's face lit up. "Then why don't you teach now?" Hari let out a sad chuckle. Who would want to learn from a beggar? The boy's determination didn't waver. He rummaged through his bag and pulled out a notebook and pencil. "I want to learn," he said, with a wide grin. Hari stared at the boy, stunned. No one had ever looked at him as anything more than a beggar. But here was a child, eager to learn from him. Taking a deep breath, he held the pencil in his shaky hands and wrote the first letter of the alphabet on the page. "This," he said, "is where it all begins." Day after day, Rohan came to the station, and under the dim light of the street lamp, Hari taught him. He taught him math, history, and even life lessons. One evening, Rohan's father, a well-dressed man, arrived at the station to pick him up. He watched in disbelief as his son sat beside the beggar, scribbling in his notebook. "Rohan, what are you doing?" his father demanded. Rohan looked up, beaming. "I'm learning, Papa. Uncle Hari is my teacher." His father's face twisted in anger. "He's a beggar, not a teacher. Come with me right now." Hari lowered his gaze, expecting rejection, as he always had. But Rohan stood firm. "No, Papa. He is a teacher. He knows so much. He just never got a chance." The father sighed, torn between his son's innocence and his own prejudice. "Son, the world doesn't work like this." Rohan looked up at his father with pleading eyes. "Then let's change the world, Papa." His father fell silent. For the first time, he saw the fire in his son's eyes. The fire of a belief so pure, so strong, that it could move mountains. After a long pause, he turned to Hari. "Is it true? Were you once a teacher?" Hari nodded hesitantly. I wanted to be. But life, it wasn't kind to me." The man studied Hari for a moment. Then, taking a deep breath, he made a decision that would change everything. "If you truly want to teach, come with us," he said. "Let's give you a second chance." Hari's eyes widened in disbelief. You mean that?" The man nodded. "Everyone deserves a chance to change their life. But you must promise me one thing." Hari swallowed hard. "Anything. Promise me that you will never call yourself a beggar again." Tears streamed down Hari's face. "I promise." With the support of Rohan's father, Hari was given a small room and a set of clean clothes. He took a bath, shaved his beard, and looked into the mirror for the first time in years. The reflection staring back at him wasn't a beggar anymore. It was a man who had been given a second chance. Word spread, and soon, a group of children, some from poor families, some simply eager to learn, began gathering in the small space provided to him. With a blackboard and a heart full of passion, Hari taught with all his soul. The railway station, once his home of despair, became a place of hope. He no longer stretched out his hand for coins, but held it up to point at the blackboard, guiding young minds toward a brighter future. Years passed. Rohan grew up, excelling in his studies, but he never forgot the man who changed his life. One day, at a grand school function, a young professor stood on stage, addressing hundreds of students. "Today, I stand before you because of one man," Rohan said, his voice filled with emotion. "A man who taught me not just letters and numbers, but the meaning of resilience, kindness, and belief. Please welcome my first teacher, Mr. Hari." The crowd erupted in applause as an elderly Hari walked onto the stage, his eyes brimming with tears. He was no longer a beggar at a railway station. He was a teacher, a mentor, a symbol of hope. As he took the mic, he looked at the sea of young faces and said, "In life, we are not defined by where we start, but by how we rise after we fall. Never stop believing in yourself, because one chance, just one, is enough to change everything." And with that, the beggar who had once lost everything became the man who gave knowledge to the world.